The internet is not my biggest fan. It never has been, but it especially isn't these days. I've made some stupid choices.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. That at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Who issued a post saying, F Biden supporters. May Biden or Kamala never have a moment's peace. That person would be fired so fast it would make your head spin. They wouldn't last one more minute in any Hollywood role. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry.
The Snow White disaster. How Rachel Zegler got thrown under the Disney bus. You know, there's a certain kind of idiot you're allowed to be when you're young. Naive, opinionated, raw. The kind that doesn't have a filter because you haven't learned what the consequences look like. And in Hollywood, that's a death sentence. Inside Disney's most chaotic failure in recent history, the live-action Snow White, we saw a girl without a filter, a studio that lost control, a veteran actress staying silent, and a global audience ready to tear it all down. This is the story of Rachel Zegler's worst nightmare, a mess so massive it triggered security threats, media lockdowns, and the brutal Hollywood tradition of blaming the loudest person in the room, even when the problems run deeper. Let's break down how Snow White turned from a fairy tale reboot into a PR disaster, and why Rachel Zegler is being publicly dragged through every shard of it. The red flags were there early. Fans predicted the movie would flop long before it even had a poster. But what no one saw coming was that when Snow White did finally crash and burn, the blame wouldn't land on Disney, or on the writers, or even the controversial decision to remake another classic. It would land squarely on Rachel Zegler. And here's where things get interesting. Because it's not just the fans who are calling her out anymore, it's insiders, it's castmates, it's even the producer's son. Yeah, we're going there, so let's rewind. Rachel Zegler, a rising star who blew up after West Side Story, was cast as Snow White. But the moment that news dropped, it wasn't excitement, it was controversy. The backlash was immediate. A Latina actress playing the role of an iconic, very white princess from a 1937 film? Some fans couldn't get past it. But the real problem wasn't her race, it was her mouth. Fast forward to press events, to interviews, to the resurfaced clips that went viral faster than a Taylor Swift breakup. Rachel joked that the prince was a stalker, called the original film creepy and weird, dismissed the love story as not relevant anymore, and openly said this wasn't going to be your grandmother's Snow White, which is fine until you remember your grandmother is the one who actually buys movie tickets. Disney fans, especially the loyal, nostalgic kind, were livid. They felt like Rachel wasn't just updating a classic, she was mocking it. Instead of reimagining the story with love, it felt like she was tearing down what made it matter in the first place. And that was mistake number one. Now, if it had stopped there, maybe it would have blown over. But it didn't, because Rachel kept talking. In August 2024, right after the trailer for Snow White broke 120 million views in 24 hours, huge win, by the way, Rachel tweeted, "Free Palestine, cue the firestorm." Now look, free speech is one thing, but Disney, the studio behind Snow White, is a global corporation, and Rachel's co-star, Gal Gadot, Israeli, former military, a mother of 4, and suddenly, the hate mail wasn't just hitting Rachel's inbox, it was targeting Gal too. Disney panicked.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that.
Security for Gal was increased. Variety reported private protection was arranged for Rachel too. Insiders said she didn't understand the scale of what she'd done, how her tweet had taken an already fragile situation and thrown gasoline on it. Producer Mark Platt, yeah, that Platt family, allegedly flew to New York to confront Rachel in person. She refused to delete the post. Now, behind the scenes, the situation was toxic, and by March 2025, it was unignorable. Let's talk about the Oscars. A fan asked if Rachel and Gal would be presenting together. Rachel's reply? She called Gal a pageant queen. Oof. Now, that might sound small, but in Hollywood, tone is everything. That comment came off snarky, dismissive, and frankly, unprofessional. From that moment on, Disney kept them apart. Literally, separate hotel rooms, separate interviews, separate red carpet appearances. At the Snow White premiere in LA, Rachel and Gal didn't take a single photo together, didn't sit near each other, didn't even exchange a glance. Rachel sat 2 rows ahead of Gal and her family. By then, Disney had reportedly given up trying to save the film. Insiders say the company had already accepted defeat. They knew it was a flop and were just trying to contain the PR damage. But the plot thickens because while Disney stayed quiet, someone else spoke up. Jonah Platt, the producer's son, went off on Instagram, called Rachel narcissistic, blamed her political opinions for tanking the film, said she was a PR disaster with a massive contract and no understanding of the consequences. And when someone accused his dad of being a creepy old Hollywood guy, Jonah clapped back. My father flew across the country to try and talk sense into her because she was ruining a $270 million movie. Yikes. And just to make it worse, when Gal Gadot got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, guess who didn't show up? Rachel Zegler. Fans noticed. So did the media. Was it tension, a calculated absence, or Disney quietly pulling strings to avoid more drama? No one knows for sure, but the silence was loud. Then came the numbers. Snow White opened to crickets. Screenshots of empty theaters flooded Twitter and Reddit, entire rows unsold. Fans filming themselves in theaters that looked like ghost towns. The film grossed just $87 million on a $270 million budget. One of the worst flops in Disney history. And Rachel? She was still posting, sharing behind-the-scenes photos, calling it life-changing, praising the cast and crew. But noticeably, no mention of Gal. Not a single photo, not a single shout-out. Fans weren't buying it. Now here's the brutal truth. Rachel Zegler became the scapegoat. Some say she deserved it. Others say she was set up to fail. After all, Disney chose her. Disney directed her. Disney approved those scripts, those press clips, those talking points. And when the backlash hit, Disney ghosted her. No public defense, no support, just radio silence. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot finally broke her silence. In an interview with Variety, she said, "There's a lot of hate online. It's hard to speak freely now." She didn't name Rachel. She didn't need to. So where does that leave us? With a 22-year-old actress, alone in the storm, a billion-dollar studio pretending they didn't see it coming, and a box office bomb that's already become a case study in what not to do with a beloved classic. Did Rachel ruin Snow White? Or did Disney just pick the wrong messenger for a message no one wanted? You decide. But as for Rachel Zegler, well, she's still in the theater, watching her own movie, alone, laughing like the world didn't burn around her. What do you think? Did Disney throw her under the bus? Or did Rachel walk right into the fire herself? Let me know, because this story is far from over.